No, what I'm saying is, let's just say that Meech didn't know about, Tammy setting up, was gonna set up Cuffy and the Mexican Suarez or whatever, right?
Right.
But after he's found out, because everybody knows she's an informant now, they're still doing the show with her. They're still dealing with her. She was still on the red carpet for BMF.
Set up by one of his best friends, which is Demetrius Flannery, also known as Big Meech. My dad and Meech have been friends for 30 years plus. I've known Meech my whole life. I look at him like an uncle.
After 50 Cent dubbed Black Mafia family founder Big Meech a rat for having ties with Rick Ross, the internet exploded with controversy. But it seems like the drama is just getting started, because Big Meech has finally fired back. Issuing a serious warning, Big Meech made it crystal clear minus 50 Cent better back off or face the consequences. This came after 50 Cent publicly mocked him over the news that Big Meech and Rick Ross would be sharing the stage at a welcome home show in Florida.
Ricky Rose, the time has come. Meech home. February 13th, get your tickets right now, it's going down.
The Big Meech and Rick Ross collaboration hit 50 Cent on a personal level. As one of Rick Ross' biggest rivals, 50 Cent demands total loyalty from those in his circle. But now, Big Meech is clapping back, claiming that 50 Cent is the real snitch here, and that the only reason 50 is lashing out is because he's furious that Meech is doing business with his opposition. This whole situation is a messy disaster, so let's break it all down. At this point, it seems like Big Meech is just the latest victim caught in 50 Cent's crosshairs. It all started when 50 posted a picture of BMF associate Tammy Callens, captioning it, "This is going to blow your mind. Doc, you coming soon." The facts are wilder than fiction, and 50 was referencing the BMF crime drama series, which he executive produces. Demetrius Flannery, better known as Big Meech, is at the center of this drama. The show, which premiered on September 26, 2021, has been renewed for 3 seasons, though Season 4 hasn't officially begun. The series follows Big Meech's real life, with his own son, Demetrius Lil Meech Flannery Jr., playing him. His brother, Terry Southwest T. Flannery, is portrayed by Da Vinci. The show takes place in the late 1980s, showcasing the gritty streets of Southwest Detroit. The Black Mafia family was one of the most notorious criminal organizations in U.S. history. By the 2000s, the Flannery brothers had launched BMF Entertainment, which on the surface was a hip-hop music label, but behind the scenes, it was a front for their massive drug empire. And then there's 50 Cent. Back in July 2019, he announced that he was developing the BMF TV series, with his company, G-Unit Films and Television Incorporated, leading the production. Another key player in this drama is Tammy Callens. In a 2014 interview with Straight from the A, Tammy, who has been linked to Big Meech as a close friend and business partner, called him her bestie. She co-produced the BMF series and was also behind the 2012 documentary BMF, The Rise and Fall of a Hip-Hop Drug Empire. Since 2008, Tammy and Meech have worked closely together, making 50 Cent's recent post even more controversial. But 50 Cent didn't just stop at a post, he took things even further. He hinted that an upcoming tell-all documentary would expose dark secrets about Tammy Callens and Big Meech. He then posted a rat emoji with the caption, "I think I'm Big Meech, 50. A direct shot at Meech, suggesting that he's the real informant. 50 Cent even admitted that his biggest mistake was cutting ties with Tammy Callens, further fueling speculation about what she might reveal. So what exactly is 50 Cent implying that Big Meech is hiding? Let's get into the ugly details. Although 50 Cent's accusation of Big Meech being a rat seemed random, it actually stemmed from Meech's recent announcement that he would be performing alongside Rick Ross at a welcome home show in Florida. This didn't sit well with 50, and he wasted no time letting the world know, publicly calling out Meech as a snitch. And as we all know, Rick Ross was once a correctional officer, a fact 50 Cent has never let him forget. Despite their decades-long feud, 50 still throws shots at Ross, calling him a fraud who pretends to be a drug kingpin. In a 2015 interview with Tim Westwood, 50 Cent even called Ross Officer Ricky, mocking him for cosplaying as a boss while allegedly maintaining ties with law enforcement. And now, 50 Cent is doubling down, suggesting that Rick Ross isn't the only informant in the room. The question is, what's the real truth? Is Big Meech really working with the feds? Or is 50 Cent just spinning the narrative out of pure jealousy? Let's get into it.
What about you and Rick Ross?
That is desperation at the points that you hear things from him at this point. You know, because if you're looking for someone, it ain't that hard to find me. You know, I'm around. And I'm not used to having an altercation with law enforcement. I'm just not used to saying I'm gonna do something to a correctional officer or to a police officer or anyone who's been under oath that's gonna say with no problem everything that you've said and everything that's happened immediately after. Like, you know this person is sworn in to tell, you know, like, it's not like, oh, you wanna be surprised after he tells everything? Because of what? Because of the line that he said in the song? Yeah.
Do you think it's that crazy?
Huh?
Do you think it's that crazy?
I don't think it's crazy. I don't even
No,
care.
but the situation is that crazy like that.
No, it's a correctional officer. It's a correctional officer that is rapping like a dealer. It shows you that that's the point in our culture that you can identify with you actually being who you say you are. Doesn't matter. That's the point where if it sounds good, they're fine with it for a short period of time. You can tell it over it now.
In 2019, 50 Cent made an appearance on Los Angeles radio station Real 92.3, sitting down with DJ Head and Bootleg Kev. And when Rick Ross' name came up, 50 didn't hold back at all. He firmly doubled down on his long-standing disdain for Ross, making it clear that he doesn't respect him as an artist or a businessman. 50 Cent bluntly stated that there's nothing about Ross' career that he admires, completely dismissing him as irrelevant in the industry. At that point, their feud had been brewing for over a decade, and 50 had already taken countless shots at Ross, continuously mocking his past as a correctional officer and questioning his credibility in hip-hop. This radio interview was just another instance of 50 making it crystal clear. He sees Rick Ross as a fraud who has no real place in the music business. But the question remains, was 50 Cent just speaking his honest opinion? Or was this yet another chess move in their ongoing war? Let's break it down.
Prison reform and all of the wrongfully convicted and wrongfully treated people in the prison system.
Before becoming the rap icon and multimillionaire mogul we know today, 50 Cent was just another young hustler trying to survive in the rough streets of South Jamaica, Queens, New York. His mother, who was widowed, tragically passed away when he was just 8 years old, leaving him to navigate life on his own. With no parental guidance, he quickly found himself caught up in the streets, hustling to survive. When he wasn't selling that white powder, he was at the boxing gym, sharpening his skills and preparing for whatever life threw his way. So it's no surprise that 50 wants nothing to do with a man who has locked people like him up and might still be working as an informant. But Rick Ross wasn't about to let 50 Cent's accusations slide. He took to his Instagram stories and clapped back hard, calling 50 a hurt person and accusing him of getting too emotional over things that shouldn't even matter. Ross went on a full-blown tirade, telling 50 to stop taking things so personally and to quit getting attached to people.
Nigga took a picture with Rick Ross. You like a hoe. Put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all niggas to understand you gotta stop making business personal. Get your money. You don't know these don't know you. And for anybody going against Ricky Rose, let me have this. I've been putting my foot up for the last 15 years. Everything you touch crumble. Why you think Rose on top? We don't take this personal, we get into the motherfucking money. Now, Big Meech, February 13th, that concert gonna be off the motherfucking foot. Putting his foot up you and leaving it in your motherfucking intestine. You know what's going down. Car show bigger than ever. Ricky Rose, the biggest.
Here's the real bombshell. Long before this drama with 50 Cent and Rick Ross even began, rumors were already swirling that Big Meech had cut a deal with the feds to reduce his sentence. For years, the Black Mafia family, BMF, was untouchable. even though law enforcement had been watching them closely since the early 90s. So when 50 Cent called out Big Meech, it wasn't just about his connection to Rick Ross. It went much deeper than that. The real crackdown didn't start until 2003, when the DEA and FBI launched Operation Motor City Mafia, a massive takedown aimed at dismantling BMF from the inside. The operation began with a wave of arrests, targeting low and mid-level members like Raphael Smurf Allison, Jabari Hayes, Dar Carlo Hoskins, and brothers Amari, McCree, and Jeffrey Lear. And here's where things get messy. When these guys got caught, some of them folded. They were either slapped with heavy charges or forced to wear wires as informants, feeding the feds key intel on BMF's inner workings. This strategy worked. By 2005, when Operation Motor City was in full swing, law enforcement had pieced together a clear picture of how BMF operated. With the organization crumbling, the feds raided safe houses, seizing millions of dollars in cash, weapons, and assets. And in the biggest blow of all, Big Meech and his brother Terry were finally arrested, bringing the empire to its knees. But was Big Meech really one of the informants? Or is 50 Cent just using this to stir up more drama? Let's dig even deeper.
Flannery and his brother Terry ran one of the country's largest operations during the late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. The pair had hundreds of employees, generated hundreds of millions of dollars, and even had a successful record label and magazine. But in 2006, the brothers were indicted in a federal RICO case originating out of Georgia.
BMF was the first group that was accused of being both a criminal organization and a record label.
Attorney Josh Schiffers says Demetrius, also known as Big Meech, is highly regarded because he never took a deal or snitched on his co-conspirators.
And he went down. And when he went down, he and his brother were sentenced to 30 years.
The charges against Big Meech and his brother Terry were serious. They were hit with 2 counts of possession with intent to distribute over 5 kilograms and conspiracy to distribute 5 kilograms or more. On top of that, they were also charged with conspiracy to launder money, making it nearly impossible to escape conviction. Even though Big Meech insisted on his innocence during his 2008 trial, the overwhelming evidence stacked against him led to a 30-year prison sentence. But here's where things get suspicious. In October 2024, news broke that Big Meech was being released from prison and transferred to a residential re-entry program in Miami. His official release date was originally set for August 17, 2025, so this early release left many shocked and skeptical. How did Big Meech manage to get out early? The rumors started flying. Many believed he could only have pulled this off by striking a deal and turning informant. And the person at the center of this alleged deal? His longtime friend and business partner, Tammy Cowens. For those who aren't familiar, Tammy Cowens holds the rights to Big Meech's life story. He sold them to her. But here's the real shocker. In 2022, Tammy Cowens was exposed as a government informant. According to Tonesa Welch, the so-called First Lady of BMF, Tammy started a smear campaign against her and even tried to get her sent back to jail. Tonesa revealed in an explosive Vlad TV interview that she was disgusted to see people who were supposed to be loyal to BMF cozying up to Tammy at the BMF series premiere. This raises the biggest question of all. If Tammy Cowens was working with the feds and Big Meech sold his life rights to her, could she have played a major role in helping Meech secure his early release? And if Big Meech really cut a deal, does that mean 50 Cent was right all along? This story is far from over, and the truth might be even messier than we think.
Get down to my probation officer, my son in the car, said, if I don't come out in a couple of hours, call the lawyer. I get in there, Tammy Cohen is a government informant. So she says, so my probation officer is sitting there and some other guy, I can't remember his name, but I just knew he was part of the DEA. And he had come in, I go in, I'm like, this is everybody's nightmare. I already did my time. Only thing I wanted to come home and do is take care of myself, take care of my family, make amends for my mother, redeem myself through, the world, or anybody that I felt like I affected. So they told me, and he says, you know what this is about? And I said, no. He said, well, you threatened a government informant, and that's a federal offense, and plus it's a violation of your probation. And I said, well, who did I threaten? I don't know what you're talking about. So he go over the story, and I'm sitting there, and I'm telling you, when I've heard of people killing themselves not to go back to prison. I went to prison, man. I went to prison. When I say I came home, and all these people were going at my head. All these people I helped. All these people, I'm a mother. I was somebody's daughter. I lost my father, lost my mother. You know, I was somebody's daughter. And here you are. You didn't put in no work. No work. All you did is start writing a man, and this man befriended you, gave you his life rights. And just because you've been a government informant since 2008, you have the right to tell them that I threatened you. I went on, they told me that they were gonna arrest me. They were gonna charge me.
Apparently, Tammy Cowan's deal with the feds didn't just involve getting Big Meech out. She allegedly had to set someone else up in exchange for his freedom. And the person who ended up getting thrown under the bus? Diane Cuffy Gatling. Cuffy wasn't just some random associate. He was one of Big Meech's closest friends and business partners for over 20 years, dating all the way back to the early 1990s. This man was loyal. He was even the first to put $1 million in Big Meech's pocket. But loyalty clearly didn't go both ways. Big Meech was like family to Cuffy, so much so that Cuffy's own daughter, Tamara, grew up calling him Uncle Meech. That's why what happened next was beyond shocking. Tamara later revealed that her family found out Big Meech had allegedly used government informant Tammy Cowans to set up her father. If this is true, then Big Meech didn't just make a deal. He might have actually sacrificed a friend to secure his own release. And that raises a whole new question. Is this the real reason why 50 Cent has been calling out Meech and Rick Ross for associating with known informants? Because if Big Meech really let Cuffy take the fall, then this entire story is way deeper than anyone could have imagined.
I'm making this recording in regards to my dad. He's Dion Gatling. Most people know him as Cuffy. But I wanted to make this recording so I can shed light on some facts. My dad was set up by one of his best friends, which is Demetrius Flannery, also known as Big Meech. My dad and Meech have been friends for 30 years plus. I've known Meech my whole life. I look at him like an uncle. Like, this situation has been completely devastating on so many different levels, and there's still so many questions that aren't answered. At this point, I can only shed light on what I know for sure to be facts, and hopefully one day I will have the complete truth. But in 2011, around that time, Meech reached out to my dad in regards to creating a BMF movie. So Meech hooked my dad up with a woman named Tammy Cowan. At the time, Tammy was Meech's power of attorney. Also, she owned the life rights. So my dad was working with Meech, Tammy, T, basically trying to work on a movie. Finally arrested my dad and we received the discovery. He knew exactly who CS1 was, and he told me and my mom that it was Tammy Cowan's. At that time, we really did not want to believe. We wanted to give Meech the benefit of the doubt. It was really, really hard to believe that Meech would set my dad up. It was almost unbelievable. So we were able to reach out, get a message to Meech, and basically let him know that Tammy was an informant. We later received a message from him saying that it has to be a misunderstanding. Just call her, she'll straighten this out, so on, so on. And at this time, my dad was like, I'm not dumb, I'm not about to.
Oh, but if you thought that was bad, wait until you hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Cuffy himself has been pushing this narrative about Big Meech being a snitch for over a decade now. And here's the real bombshell. A leaked jail phone call surfaced where Cuffy broke it all down. explaining exactly how Big Meech allegedly sold him out to the feds just to save himself. According to Cuffy, this wasn't some random rumor. He claims he has the receipts and knows exactly how it all went down. For years, people refused to believe that Big Meech could ever turn informant. But if what Cuffy is saying is true, then that means the entire street legend of BMF has been built on a lie. And if Big Meech really cut a deal to walk free while his own people got locked up, then that changes everything about how he's been portrayed over the years. But here's the real question: if Cuffy has been saying this for over 10 years, why are people just now starting to pay attention? Could it be because Big Meech is actually about to get out, and the truth is finally catching up to him?
How did Meech have information on you and give it to Tammy so you could get caught up in it? How did that happen? So that means you got to go back to the movie.
Okay, so let me take him back. So me and Tammy were working on the BMF movie. I originally had the script and paid for the script for the BMF movie, not the show that 50's doing on Stars. But I originally paid for the script for the BMF movie, so we were shopping the movie.
So Tammy was involved at that time, which is CS1. So
Tammy Cowan, CS1, had all Meech life rights.
Right. And what year was that?
This all the way back in 2010.
Okay. So this.
We proved that there was a legitimate business.
Right.
Legal business.
Right.
So, let's take it back. The original target was the guy by the name of Fidel Suarez. That was a Mexican cartel member out of California. He was the initial target.
Right. Fidel Suarez was the initial target out of Cali.
His name is in the paperwork.
Right. That's that.
Tammy was trying to.
The entire situation involving Big Meech and Tammy conspiring to set someone else up is quite complex. Consider the circumstances and disclosed that by conducting business with Tammy and giving her his life rights, Big Meech had further betrayed himself.
What I'm saying is, let's just say that Meech didn't know about, Tammy setting up, was gonna set up Cuffy and the Mexican Suarez or whatever, right?
Right.
But after he's found out, because everybody knows she's an informant now, they're still doing the show with her. They're still dealing with her. She was still on the red carpet for BMF with Lil Meech and all them. Don't you feel like that's dishonorable, bro? Like, to still be dealing with her knowing that she got your man banged for 30 years?
Yeah, it's definitely, if it happened like that, it's definitely dishonorable, but you have to look at something else. Like, if she owned everything, if she owned the rights to that, like, you're not getting her off the red carpet. Like, you understand that too? That's her. So
yeah, but you still got the option to not do business with her though, bro.
Yeah, but not doing business with her is giving her your whole life story too, for sure.
Big Meech hasn't addressed any of this directly yet, but rumors are circulating that he isn't going to end his partnership with Rick Ross just because 50 Cent's feelings are hurt. In fact, he allegedly thinks 50 Cent is a hypocrite for calling him a rat while having worked with Tammy Cowan for years. For over a decade, 50 Cent and Tammy have been involved in the BMF franchise since 2008. At that time, rumors about her being an informant had already started circulating, and 50 was aware of it all along. So now the question arises, if Big Meech's involvement with Ross makes him a rat, then why does 50 Cent's involvement with a known snitch not make him the same? Many people are questioning 50's stance, pointing out that so 50 partnered with an informant. Why isn't that the headline yesterday, today, and tomorrow? It's also being said that 50 never had an issue with Tammy Cowan until she got involved with Ross. Until Meech linked up with Ross, 50 was fine working with an informant. In reality, nobody was keeping quiet about it. Similar to Jay-Z's collaboration with Desiree Perez, this situation has sparked a debate. Do you think Big Meech went too far by partnering with Rick Ross? Or is 50 Cent the one being hypocritical? Share your thoughts and stay tuned for more updates.